she knows none of that, you see. And how my grandmother was like my Irish grandmother. But I never knew this one at all, because when I was 1, she gave me a lamb, a woolly lamb, and I never saw her again. So that was when I was 1.
Because she
died.
She just died suddenly.
She just died. But she was older. But, you see, Uncle Bert was, or your grandfather, had asthma always.
Oh, yeah.
So they had this, in the navigation at Bucksworth. This is where she lived.
Oh, right.
So she brought her children up as
9 children in the navigation inn.
Well, some of them had been married then.
Oh, right. One. Okay, so some
away.
left before the last ones were born.
So she had all these children. But then he would go and stay with
Uncle
Auntie
Law
Liddy.
would stay.
And he would say, they said it was the water. They thought it was the canal.
Being close to
that was giving him this breathing problem. So he went to stay with Auntie Liddy. By
Away
this
from
time,
the water.
where probably Harold Bowden had died then.
Mm.
So he died, and Auntie Liddy very soon after married Ernest Scattergood.
Okay.
So Ernest Scattergood, who you won't hear very little of, was an undertaker in New Mills. And then they got the Queens, but this is before that. That's when she had somebody there called Miss Gregg, who had a parrot and was a real lady, had money, very, very, very polite, and so she was.
You mean she was
resident.
to run it?
Yes. So, but then when your granddad, my father, went to stay with Auntie Liddy, he was always absolutely fine. Never any sign of.
Sorry, where was that?
This was at New Mills, opposite.
Okay. In the town centre.
On Union Road. Am I mucking it up, Marjorie? This.
Anyway, it was New Mills, though.
Anyway. Yes.
So he goes to Union Road, New Mills, and then starts to live with his sister, who is Auntie Liddy.
And then she's remarried with this.
She has remarried, so she is now with Ernest Scattergood, and so he is fine. He never has a sign of it.
Right, yeah.
And then it was found out that because his mother and his family home had always had a feather mattress and feather pillows, and Lydia had always had flock pillows and flock mattresses, that the allergy had come from the feathers.
Oh, right.
So this is why your grandfather always would have Dorcas sheets, which were white cotton sheets, and he would have those changed every week, and he would not have a feather pillow about.
But didn't he have hay? Because my first memories of hearing about hay fever was from him.
But you know what he used to do?
No.
And you used to think he's mad, because he used to be streaming with hay fever, absolutely streaming. And he'd go and he'd sit in one of the meadows up the clough, and he'd get a handkerchief that he wet through with cold water, and he put 4 little knots in it, and he put it on his head, and he sat in the middle of this hay fever, and he sneezed and he sneezed and he sneezed, and he got off, went off, he felt better.
Oh, right.
So in a way, he was having antihistamine himself.
A large dose.
He was dosing him.
To give babies peanuts.
But you see, when he was married and my mother had TB, I remember as a child, when it was bad weather and there was frost on, when we used to have more severe frost than there are now, and he'd go up under the tunnel
up the
by
clough.
the wreck,
Oh, yeah.
and he'd pick the icicles and he'd take them for her to suck. And he said, that'll do you good. Well, it probably covered in soot and all sorts from the steam trains, but he was convinced he knew how to cure things.
Because I remember him saying, oh, my dad would say, oh, make sure you wear your glasses, and Grandad would say that he'd basically improved his eyesight by not wearing them, by training his eyes.
Exactly. Well, when he put them on, they were so dirty you couldn't see through them. So, I mean, if you put them on, they were unable to see through them. But yes, that's true. That's true. But also the story of your granddad, because Grandma Phyllis was bigger than he was. I mean, he wasn't